Hello student, I'm Mr. Leung. So in this video, we are going to talk about the MC questions in the Chapter 10 textbook. So for this video, we are going to talk about the 3 MC questions about transpiration, transport, and support in the plants. So let's take a look in the first question. It's about transpiration. So before we talk about the MC questions, I would like to make a very quick summary for the transpiration. So for transpiration, actually, it can be divided into 3 levels of concept in transpiration. So for the first part, it's talking about the basic concept of transpiration. So that means the definition of the transpiration, or how could it happen. So that's why for the first part, what is transpiration, and for the second part, how does transpiration take place in the stomata. So that's all the thing about the definition. Okay, so it's a bit low order, okay, because you just need to memorize something. Okay, and then for the second one, you need to think about it for the transpiration. So that's why in the lesson, I always ask you this question: is transpiration evil or angel, or even a necessary evil? That means something bad, but we really need it. Okay, so that's for part 3 and part 4. Okay, because in part 3 we are going to talk about the transpiration pool, and then for number 4 is talking about any importance of the transpiration. For transpiration, it means water loss, but actually it can help the plant to absorb water by creating a force called transpiration pool. So that's why we need to think about whether it's really a good thing or it's really a bad thing. Okay, so that's for the level 2 of transpiration. And for part 5 and part 6, it's talking about any environmental factors. It could affect the transpiration rate, and also as a plant, how can they survive in different environmental conditions. So that's why in part 6 we are going to talk about how do environmental factors affect the rate of transpiration. And then for the other part is that, so how can the plant to prevent excessive water loss through transpiration. So that's why any adaptive features of the plant, for example on the leaves. So that's why there's something we can divide the whole topic of transpiration into different levels for easier revision. Okay, so let's take a look in the first MC question. So in this MC question, we are take a look at the graph. So in this graph, we know that there are 2 environmental conditions, condition A and condition B. So, and then we can observe that from the graph is that the rate of transpiration in condition A is lower than that in condition B. So at least we know that there may be some environmental factors difference between condition A and condition B. So, and then the question is talking about which of the following is an unlikely combination of the conditions being studied. So that's why by comparing the rate of transpiration, we need to know that actually A, B, C, D, which one is unlikely a correct combination of the environmental factors. So let's take a look in option A. So in option A, it's talking about condition A, still air, and condition B is moving air. So actually in this combination, we are talking about the wind speed and the air current movement. Okay, so that's why in this part it's talking about the wind speed or the air current. And the basic concept is that if we can we call the table, okay, it's talking about the environmental factors effect. So we know that the faster the air movement, the higher the rate of diffusion of the water vapor from the leaves is. So that means the diffusion rate from the airspace in the leaf to the surrounding, it could be faster if the air movement, air current, or wind speed is high. So that's the correct combination. And then for option B is talking about condition A, air temperature 15 degrees Celsius, and for condition B, the air temperature is 25 degrees Celsius. So that's why condition A a bit cold condition or cool condition, but for condition B is relatively hot condition. So that's why for this combination, we are going to talking about the temperature. the effect of temperature on the rate of transpiration. And also we call the table, we know that the higher temperature it will increase the rate of evaporation of water vapor. And then actually the higher temperature can also increase the kinetic energy of the water vapor. So that's why we also need to recall the logic, okay? Because higher the temperature, so the water vapor, they can move faster. And then that's why the rate of diffusion will also be faster. So that's why for option B is also a correct combination. And then for option C, condition A is relative humidity is 98%. And for condition B, the relative humidity is 75%. So that's why condition A is is relatively humid place. And for condition B is relatively dry region. So that's why in option C, we are going to compare the relative humidity, which environment is dry or which environment is wet. And then the lower the relative humidity, that means the drier environment will maintain a steeper concentration gradient of the water vapor between the airspace in the leaves and the surrounding air. So that means the concentration gradient, you need to recall it because it's talking about the diffusion of the water vapor, okay? So in this part, if the environment, the external environment is very dry, so that's why the water vapor concentration in the airspace of the leaf will be higher than the concentration of water vapor outside the leaves. So that's why for option C is also a correct comparison, because for condition B, which is a drier environment. And for option D, okay, so before that we talk about A, B, C, and A, B, C, they are the correct combination. So that's why the answer should be option D, which is the unlikely combination. So for option D is talking about the carbon dioxide concentration. So you may think that, Mr. Leung, the carbon dioxide actually it will affect the rate of photosynthesis. And if the plant it needs to undergo photosynthesis in a higher rate, so that means it needs more carbon dioxide. And actually the stomata it should open wider. Am I correct? So in this part I need to tell you that the rate of photosynthesis also depends on other factors. For example, light intensity. So that's why in this question actually we don't know such difference. So that's why what if okay, in the whole experiment, no matter condition A or condition B, it is carried out at night. That means no light and no photosynthesis. So no matter how high or how low carbon dioxide concentration, it seems like that no any effect on the size of stomata, and also no any effect on the rate of transpiration. So that's why it's for the option D. So let's take a look at the second MC question. It's talking about the transport of the plant. So in this question, we are going to examine the photomicrographs of the stem and of the root. So the first idea is that you need to label all the things, okay, especially the structures of xylem vessel and phloem vessel. So that's why you need to be able to distinguish 2, 3, 5, 6, okay, at least the xylem vessel and phloem vessel. And in this question, I just would like to mention one thing is that what is structure 1? Okay, structure 1, which is a thick wall cell. Actually, in this part, it doesn't show in our diagram, okay, but we shall use a DSE past paper to identify, okay, the thick wall cell. So in the textbook, so you can find the whole diagram showing the location of the xylem vessels and phloem vessels in different parts of the plant, from leaf, from stem, from root. So you can see that in stem, in root, in the lesson, okay, I have already mentioned that the vascular bundles, including the xylem vessels, the phloem vessels, they are arranged in a ring at the periphery of the stem. And in the root, so you can see that the vascular bundle are located at the center. And one more thing is that for the xylem vessel and the phloem vessel, okay, they are very specific location. Is that for the xylem vessel, okay, so they are always tend to the middle, okay, of the stem or the root. So you can see that for the xylem vessel in the stem, they are also pointing inwards, okay, and also the xylem vessel in the roots, they are just the cross area. And then the phloem vessel, they are a bit pointing outwards, okay, of the stem, and also they are surrounding the xylem vessel, okay, so that's why they are a bit outwards, okay. So that's the xylem and phloem vessels. But we need to know that in the question, we are not always looking at the diagram, the drawing diagram. Okay, most likely we shall study the structure in the photo micrographs. So just like this. So what you can see is that the structure, okay, what you can see in this part, for example, this red part, okay, they are all the xylem vessel. They are all the xylem vessel, okay. And then for the green part, okay, for the green, I do not use green here, okay, I'll erase this too. So for the green part, this green part, okay, this green part, and then this green part, okay, so they are immediately behind the xylem vessel. They are the phloem vessel, okay, so that's why in this part, you can find the xylem vessel and phloem vessel easily. And one more thing I would like to tell you is that some students, they may have a misunderstanding that, oh, this part can be the phloem. No, not really. I'm going to tell you what is this dark region, okay? What are these cells, okay? So that's why we need to refer to the 2014 DSE past paper. So in this picture, so you can see that in this question, okay, you are given a cross-section photo micrograph of the stem. So you can see that it's highly similar with the diagram in your textbook. So you can see the xylem vessel here, okay, xylem vessel here, and then immediately you have the phloem vessel, okay, near the xylem vessel. But okay, in this question, I just would like to focus the outer region. That means this part, okay. For example, don't call it X, okay. Don't for example A, okay. So what is the structure A? So in this part, we can refer to the marking scheme of the past paper. In this question, actually, you are asked to draw a labeled low power diagram of this sector PQR. So that's why you need to draw this region and then do the labeling for me. So let's take a look at the marking scheme of this question. So after you do the drawing, so you need to do some labeling. So in this part, you can draw the vascular bundle. We have the xylem vessel here, and then we also have the phloem vessel here. And then for the outer part, okay, that's the thick wall cell. So collectively, they are called the vascular bundle. So for this part, you can see that in the diagram here, okay, we have the xylem vessel, phloem vessel, and the thick wall cell. And then we can use this diagram to refer to the diagram in our MC questions. Okay, so let's go back to our MC questions. So apart from the 2, 3, 5, 6 xylem vessel and phloem vessels, and then now we also know the thick wall cell. And then for the other part, that's the pith. So for this question, it's talking about which of the following correctly show the route by which the food from the leaves is transported through the stem to the root. So that's why from leaf, stem to the root. And then transport the food. And then what is the food? The food should be the organic food. An example of the organic food, for example, sucrose. So that's why we know that because we are transporting the organic food, so that's why we only need to consider the phloem vessels, and it's okay. And then that's why for the structure 3 and 6, okay, they will be excluded because they are the xylem vessels. And xylem vessels, they are responsible for transporting water and minerals. So that's why number 3 and number 6, okay, they are incorrect. So number 6, bye-bye. Number 3, bye-bye. Number 3 and number 6, bye-bye. And then that's why the final answer should be 2, 5, 4. And then we can confirm it. Structure 2, phloem vessel in the stem. And then number 5, phloem structure in the root, so that means the direction will be from the stem to the root is also okay. But finally, okay, when the food they are transported to the phloem vessel finally, okay, so the food will diffuse to the cells surrounding the vascular bundles, okay, that means the surrounding cells, okay, those cells they need the food to undergo respiration or growth, something like this. So that's why the answer will be 2, 5, 4. And especially for this question, we know that in this diagram, okay, we see the whole vascular bundle, but you need to know that, okay, in the inner part is the xylem vessel, and immediately actually what you can see will be the phloem vessel, and on the outer part will be the thick wall cell, okay, the whole structure, okay, as what you see in the DSE question, okay, collectively they are called the vascular bundle. So that's for question number 2, and let's take a look at question number 3. So for the question number 3 is talking about the support of the plant, and then now we have the cross section of a stem. Okay, so how can let's take a look. Okay, how can the stem support the plant? So in this part we have the tissues X, Y, Z, and just like before we do the labeling first. For X, which is the xylem vessels, for Z, which is the phloem vessels, and Y, which is the pith. So for these 3 structures, we need to know that for phloem vessels, actually, what we say that is its major role is to transport the organic food. So actually, it cannot provide a great supporting force. Okay, so that's why it cannot provide support. And then that's why for structure Z, okay, is eliminated. And actually, the answer should be A, X and Y. But we need the explanation, right? Okay, we just we do not only know the answer, but also know the reason behind it. So for X, xylem vessels, it can provide the mechanical support by rigidity, because by the xylem vessels, okay, they have the thickened cell wall. The cell wall is thickened, so that's why it can provide the support by rigidity, because the cell wall is hard enough. Okay, thickened cell wall. And then for the pith, although the pith they are thin wall cell, they can still provide support by absorbing water and then make it to become turgid. So that's why, just like what we learned in chapter 3, when the plant cell, it absorbs water and then the cell will become turgid. And once it becomes turgid, it can provide mechanical support by turgidity. So that's why the answer is A, X and Y only. So that's the 3 questions in chapter 10. So if you have any questions, please leave it below. See you next time. Bye bye.